right. Well, here we are again. And we are back to do a kind of a crossover between our channels. Mo's been generous enough to be with me for what? How long?
I feel like 9 months.
Yeah, we discussed the first 9 of these films. And we got lost around at the end of 9, but 9 was kind of 8 and 9 were kind of a wasteland that was hard to get out of.
It was a rough
And
patch.
so we're taking some time to recover, and then we'll get back to it. But I thought, hey, why don't we cover the Christmas special here on this channel? I mean, it's going to be some fun. And the Christmas special is a great amount of fun. And we've been trying to get Cody here into the bad bin. He got bogged down by the slog that was Steelmanville Road.
Oh my God.
Kind of got scared off the bad bin series. So we're hoping that this will be a reignition for most of us to let us know what is special about the Bad Ben series and how it can be really fun.
The most fun. Definitely a reignition for me. It's we'll get to that though. Continue, good sir.
But yes, actually, he's coming out with another Christmas special this year, supposedly. But I guess we'll see how that is. But he's been doing it on his Bad Ben TV, so I don't know whether he'll share that one on YouTube. But this one's been on YouTube for a while. It took place around the time that he finished the third film. And he did a lot of these little side products like this and the Witch episode, which is a fully animated short about him doing his little ghost business thing. So we've got Nigel, or actually it's not Nigel. Nigel is the name of the actor.
It's Tom Riley, man.
Tom Riley. Oh my gosh.
You brought me into this, and I'm the one who always has to remember that.
But Tom Riley, who ended up buying this quaint little house off of Steelmanville Road and found out it was haunted. He got kind of chased out of the house, but now he's a paranormal investigator, and he always seems to be dragged back to that same house again and again. This time on Christmas, as we have an aggressive haunting of the place. And this is a series. Bad Ben has 11 entries in it now, with the most recent being Bad Ben Undead. And he is...
Oh, shit. He done past fucking Jack Hunter's fucking paranormal tales.
Shoot, he puts them out almost as often. He's got he's doing 2 films a year. He only got slowed down. I think he'd be on like film 12 if the pandemic hadn't hit. And
he's gonna have to, readdress some of his claims on some of those posts.
But he's working on his next group. So of course, anybody who wants to go to badben.com or to the Facebook page and donate, you are welcome to. I know I got a Bad Ben. I got a Bad Ben Christmas ornament.
That's beautiful, man.
And I do have physicals for each of the movies, and he does a lot of lives on his Facebook. So if you are around when he does them, he does answer back. He is very responsive in the live discussions. Who knows? Maybe we'll get him for a Schlockaholics interview one of these days.
Oh, we will. Hopefully in character. I think that would be great. Yeah, man, I'm hoping to get those physicals at some point myself. This is a series, I think if you're a fan of found footage, paranormal horror, or just horror comedy in general, you owe it to yourself to own at least 2/3 of the Bad Ben movies, if not all of them, just to support him making more of them. So.
Oh yeah, they're hit or miss, but I think that they're more of a hit than a miss. In my opinion.
When they hit you right in the fucking giblets, man. That's it's good stuff. It's some of my favorite shit in the world. Especially after watching this, it really cemented it. And knowing that this came after part 3 makes total sense, because that's where he really hit that perfect synergy of the idea and the humor and the way he was shooting it. And it all becomes like the science that makes the best of Bad Ben. So yeah, I'm sorry. I'm taking us off track here, but I'm just excited about this, man.
So why don't I ask? It's definitely not my first time watching this. I think I was the first of this of this group of people to know about it. And I knew about it because me and my wife kept looking through, seeing this Bad Ben advertising on Amazon Prime, and eventually we're like, okay, let's just go ahead and watch this. And even she got into it for a while. It was actually, I'll say, pandemic, I think, is what killed her interest in the series, which is I can understand. Then when Benign hit, because she was wanting to give Benign a chance, and then I think that just ended it for her. But she was all gun ho up until then, and then I saw this Christmas special, and I had to check it out. Now I'll watch it every year. But how about y'all? Is this y'all's first time tangling with the Bad Ben night before Christmas?
Well, we're gonna let you go first, Cody, and I also want to hear your initial impressions of Bad Ben and how this has affected those initial impressions. So, go.
Yeah, this is my first time seeing the Christmas special. Watched it this morning. I've watched the first Bad Ben. I thought it was okay. Did not like the second one, and even though you guys have been pressing, have not pulled the trigger on the third
one. So has this changed? Has this gotten you a little bit more interested in the third one?
This was definitely better than the second one for sure.
If you like this, dude, it gets exponentially better in several entries from here. This is more of the direction that the series goes in, is what you saw in this little chunk of fucking holiday deliciousness. Even more so, I think part 3 is probably the funniest Bad Ben movie. So when you get to that after watching this, you're gonna be like, all right, yeah, these guys were on to something with that shit. And then there are a couple of stinkers in there, as we've mentioned in our discussions, but man,
if you listen to our discussion on the second film, we don't really we
fucking hated it, dude. That's the best way to put it. Both of us were like, we saw the positive elements of it. Obviously, the movie is a fucking slog, and that's being generous. You know, it really takes any sort of seed of awesomeness that was in the first one and just slogs it down by trying to be too serious about it. And then when the third one comes along, it's like this one where it just dick punches the whole idea. You know, and makes it just fun, silly, Tom being Tom out there with the ghosts kind of a thing.
Yeah, they get rid of any pretense of it being a serious found footage film, and go straight horror comedy for the third one, which I think is where the eighth one kind of fell flat, is that they were trying to, it was sort of like a combination of that with him doing a running commentary over people's kind of serious attempts at trying to do like scary short films.
Pandemic movies don't count, man. Most of them, I think. It's one of those things where everything done in the last couple of years for a lot of these guys is a wash. Like, you might as well just forget about it. And I kind of almost wish some of them hadn't done it, you know, because Bad Ben was really, with Haunted Highway, had hit that sort of zenith where it's like they could have just cranked out so many awesome movies, but then they got bogged down in doing the pandemic. Like, well, I'm compelled to release a movie. And obviously this dude's not doing it for profit or anything like that. I understand the compulsion to make art, but maybe some of this art that the people have made should not have been part of their main series of films. You feel me?
It depends on the creator. Like, I really loved Joel Wynkoop's Craiglan trilogy. They were bad, but they were bad in such a good way.
Yeah, there's going to be exceptions to every rule, but I think.
Uh-oh. Well, yeah, I think they were, but yeah, bad in a good way. But yeah, as far as Bad Ben, this Christmas special, I do think, I'm hoping that you looked at this one and it gave you a little bit more interest into attempting the third film, because I do think that you'll be in good shape, Cody. You're back.
Well, there goes my hot spot. I think that there's a lot of creators that did shit as part of their main lines of films over the last couple of years that are going to wish that they maybe hadn't did it, and hindsight's 2020.
Mhm.
At the time, when you're 2 years into a pandemic, it seems like this is our fucking life. So you have to do what you got to do to make the movie that you want to make, and shit happens, But this definitely was perfectly placed by you in the rotation of these discussions, because it 1000% and reinvigorated me of wanting to talk about Bad Ben again.
And in all fairness, Undead is not that bad. And I think a second watch of Eulogy helped me a lot with that film. So it's because I was kind of not impressed with Eulogy the first time. And the second time, I actually got some laughs out of it. And Undead, there's a lot of callbacks to Haunted Highway in that one.
Well, let's just be real, though. After Haunted Highway, Not That Bad is not cutting it anymore,
Yeah, that's true. Haunted Highway was kind of a peak.
It really is. And once you know that that's what they're capable of, it's really hard to deal with movies like that. But, this one, I think this might be the best place to watch it, actually, is after Haunted Highway. Kind of a callback to, the earlier stuff that started us down the road to get that fucking masterpiece. And this is a masterpiece in its own right, man. But we'll get to that.
I did like the fact that this whole thing was started when somebody's ex-girlfriend was apparently PO'd at him and decided to send him a cursed object, which happened to contain some evil elves that apparently had tried to overthrow Santa Claus and were punished for doing so. And I'll admit, the dude who is the kind of main character in this one, the guy who owns the house, he does come across as kind of a douchebag. But then again, Tom doesn't really mince his words about that either.
I love that fucking scene, dude, where he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I've just never seen a paranormal investigator before." He's like, Tom's just like, "Yeah, well, I've never seen a douchebag in plaid before, so." I fucking died at work watching that shit. Full disclosure, I deliver mail, but stuff like this I can watch while I'm at work because I have like a cell phone holder and I can sit there and fucking watch the movie like in between stops of the mail, So I was watching this as I was delivering people's Christmas presents this morning, and it was pretty great. It was maybe one of my favorite viewings of a Bad Ben film, just watching it in little chunks like that. And it because of the length of it, it's like 36 minutes. It just worked out,
And this is a great one for one-liners. You talk about favorite lines in a film. This is an easy one to try and pick one out of. If you do, I have one actually recorded, which is great, where he's talking to the priest and, saying to him, like, what was it? This ain't like snapping towels at nuns.
What he says is he's like, this ain't like snapping towels at nuns' bare asses. And it's just so fucking funny to think that that's what Tom thinks that fucking priests are doing, is like some locker room shit, like snapping towels at nuns' bare asses. Like, that's amazing.
So what do you think of the guy, the streamer guy, basically, who is the one who owns the house, Cody?
Oh yeah, give it to us, Cody.
Just basically annoying prick. Just one of those kind of guys. Everyone knows at least one of them, and that's basically what this guy was.
He didn't believe in ghosts, even though he had seen them in front of his face multiple times.
Right.
You could conceivably still think it was some kind of a trick at that point, but I really took some resentment to him talking about how he's 24 years old and he shouldn't believe in things or whatever. And it's like, or was he 34? Who cares? He's an idiot.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, obviously there's certain stuff like Tooth Fairy or Santa Claus that you stop believing in at a certain age. But other stuff, I mean, it's like, can you prove it that it's not real? I mean, you can't be open to the possibility. I especially loved how he went through that. Such subtle humor that, well, not really, because Tom brings it back around very bluntly, but like how he kept talking about how he's too old to be into all this shit, and then Tom finally asks him what he does, and it turns out he's a gamer that streams for a living or whatever. And then after that, he asks Tom some question when Tom's about to do something, and he's like, "Take it easy, Fortnite. All right." The professors are at work, kind of thing. And he calls the dude Fortnite. Take it easy, Fortnite. Like, settle down. It's so good because it shows that Nigel Block dude is at least tapped into, you know, what he's talking about. It's not him being like an old codger that's like, oh, I'm gonna make a joke about like streamers. You know, like Nigel actually knows that Fortnite's a big deal in that arena as well, you know, so immediately insults the dude with it. And I just thought it was a smart bit of writing and a really funny fucking bit in the movie, you know.
One thing
the douchebag in plaid, though, is my favorite thing. My favorite line in the whole movie is that one.
One thing that you might not know, Cody, about the Bad Ben series, because of the third one that's missed, is that Nigel is currently living in a tent. Not Nigel, Tom is currently living in a tent in the woods. And technically all he's doing is watching stuff on his phone. He gets his tablet in the third movie, which he apparently left in the house, and he picks up at the in this Christmas special. If you see, he's like, I love how he's like, he picks up, yoink, like it's mine now.
Dude, it was the third one where he's mad that they brought him clothes from Walmart or something.
Yeah.
He's like pissed that they didn't go to like Kmart or like a, what is it? What does he say exactly?
Like J.C. Penney's, I think it was.
Yeah, he's like pissed that they didn't get him like better budget brand clothes, you know. And that's one of those moments that I knew that I loved the character, you know, because he's living in a tent in the woods. They hire him to do this paranormal shit, and part of the stipulation is that they go pick him up some clothes, and they come back and it's like Walmart clothes, and he's like, you couldn't have fucking gone to J.C. Penney or something like, you know, better than Walmart. It's just so fucking good, dude.
But essentially,
I understand why somebody like Nigel has made so many of these movies, because he's really, really good at playing this character. And you see that in this, even in this Christmas special. Like, the dude, obviously this came after part 3 where he hit his fucking stride with it, you know. And then when you get to Haunted Highway and shit like that, it's like, oh man, how is this not like a seasonal TV show? It's just great, you know. We know other people that have maybe beat a certain horse to death with their own personal franchises, but I think Bad Ben, I can understand why he keeps doing it to a point, because it's like, I think Nigel just is kind of Tom, you know.
He's just this grumpy old man, and he plays grumpy old man very well. With this one, you've got these, of course, you got the evil elf with her 2 jesters that are at her side. And they're basically kind of wrecking this dude's Christmas tree and eventually harassing him. Mainly when Tom decides, oh, we're gonna drag him out. We're gonna make him so instead of, you know, that way we can take him out. Of course, you know, instead it makes him more dangerous, but that's how he is usually. He's not a very competent ghost hunter, but he's a
very confrontational. I think he is. He confronts them. He brings them out. It was probably a little bit lost on Cody, but the whole him teaming up with Ben in this one is fucking epic as well.
Oh yeah.
I think Tom's actually a pretty goddamn good ghost hunter when you get right down to it. He's just not afraid to go in there and put himself in the position where they're going to flush his head in the toilet without it being clean, you know. Like, it's not as sleek and upscale as it looks in the old 70s movies where they're going in there doing the whole, the power of Christ compels you thing. Tom goes in there and calls them whores and Keebler elves and makes them fucking give them a swirly. Because it actually draws them out in the open where you can fucking deal with them. And if you have like a badass demon friend like Ben, or a Jersey Devil friend, I guess, that helps too.
I mean,
I think it's pretty easy to look at him as a bumbling idiot, but he actually is pretty successful when you think about it. And now that we're like 9 movies and a special deep into this thing.
Well, I mean, in Eulogy,
yeah, he's pretty good at it.
He has this thing where they're talking about him, and they're talking about like, he's it's like, no, he was terrible. It's like, well, I hired him to go get this ghost out, and it shows him coming down there. He's like, oh well, this ghost is refusing to come out. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to summon him. So he pulls this like big elaborate thing and summons the demon. The demon's like, I wasn't haunting this house, and they're like, yeah, he got the wrong house, and now the demon's haunting our neighbor. He was like, yep, yeah, okay, done. But that's
I'll give him that too, man, because he is the guy making the movies. He always has like some interesting, funny like plot device, even if the movies themselves aren't the greatest. Like there is always on the writing end of it, it's sound, because it is just him that writes and directs all of it, right?
Yeah, pretty much. He's had projects where he's had help, and I know that there was a lot of
like the shorts, yeah. I will be right back once.
Essentially, though, with this particular movie, he goes in, he takes him out. I mean, there's that scene at the on the stairway where they use that sped up thing where the elf just runs up at him and does that kind of, I guess if you are easily scared, that speed up would definitely startle you as it comes up. And he finds out that the mother also hired a priest because she didn't really have all that confidence in his ability to take care of it. And then the priest is sitting there just blessing the house like, yeah, whatever, I know how to do this. Decides, I'm going to go in the basement and I'm going to take that. And I was like, that's not a good idea. And he found out, okay, that's not a good idea. And they kind of give, basically, they kind of take the back seat and let Tom go for it after that because they're just out of that. I think because after that, and Tom goes in the basement to look for him, I believe that's also when the streamer guy gets abducted too. And I do like how they go in the woods out back and you notice this, like, it looks like a Christmas tree at the distance, but it's actually both of them tied up with Christmas.
Oh man, that is so fucking good. And then they spit out the balls at the same time and they're like, turn around, and they're behind them, and then he summons Ben in. Fucking such an epic scene.
And one of the things he talks about, he's all proud of, is that I use the same Christmas ornaments as I sell. They're unbreakable, so there was no risk of it breaking in their mouths. And I'm like, I'm sure they're breakable. I'd rather not take my chances with that.
But that explanation is fucking hilarious. Even if it's a totally false claim, claiming you sell unbreakable Christmas ornaments is pretty funny.
That's the real guy saying that.
I think that's the beauty of the Ben series, is that all the humor is very direct but subtle. It's worked in there in a way that doesn't, because at the same time, they never really changed the tone of how they dealt with the movies when you think about it. He's been a pretty consistent character from the third Bad Ben movie, and even a lot of that was taken directly from the first Bad Ben movie. So you could argue that Tom or Nigel has been a consistent performance the entire time. It's just they introduce him to wackier situations and he handles it the way that he handles it. He was handling shit that way in the first Bad Ben movie. He was confrontational as fuck and just grumpy and mostly just annoyed that he has to deal with the ghosts, not like there's no wonder involved. There's no fascination with they're these paranoid. It's just get the fuck out of the house. You know, like,
It is great
stop this
how
thing. I'm trying to do something here.
it's great how Ben actually takes care of one of the two jesters like right away out there, and they're like, "Oh crap!" and they run away. That's like the end of the third movie. It's like that line at the end of the third movie. He's like, "Hey Ben, let me introduce you to the guy who broke your toy."
Yeah, that's great, but my favorite moment in any of the Bad Ben movies actually comes from this, where Tom steps out on the porch and I think he's about to go into the woods, and you hear Ben screech, and he's like, "Don't go far, I might need you," or whatever. It's just so epic, dude. It's like, fuck yeah, he's teamed up with the ghost now, and they're like hunting other the ghost, with Ben. And they're hunting other ghosts now. I mean, it's fucking rad,
Ben stops being really an adversary after the third film. I mean, he's more of either a side character or a semi-protagonist. I mean, shoot, in Benign, he asks Ben to go to the CVS and pick him up some stuff.
Well, even looking back to the first one, Ben really was kind of the not secondary demon, but he was the least sinister of them. Like by the end of the first movie, you kind of have this idea that Ben is not the bad one. He's actually trying to warn Tom about the bad one, and I think that's the conclusion we came to in our discussion for it as well. So Ben was never really a bad guy. He was just one of the spirits that, or entities that Tom had to deal with.
So, what do you think of this dynamic, Cody? I mean, of basically a Tom and the priest and the and the gamer guy.
What was funny is like you're almost hitting all the polar opposites there, like every end of the spectrum almost.
The priest was so great, dude. Just reading my child stuff in between, he was really hamming it up, that priest. But in that subtle priestly kind of a way. He was doing a really good job, whoever was playing that guy.
Oh yeah, I agree. And I do think, and then after this, of course, they go back into the house and the other two are like, you know what, we'll just wait right out here and let you do it. Which I do find that interesting because both of them start off like, the first one's like, ghosts don't exist. You don't need to be here, whatever. And the priest is like, I got this. Then by this point, they're like, you got this. You do that. We'll stay right out here. I mean, even the gamer guy was a little bit better. Hey, Mike.
Yo, Michael. We always got to take a moment for this, dude. Stream veteran right here. Thanks, man. Good to see you. Sorry, bud.
But really and truly, they do evolve a little bit character-wise to where they're not quite as arrogant and douchey themselves. I mean, the gamer guy's even like willing to. I was thinking, it's like, should we go in and help him? With that, of course, the priest is like, no, my child, we'll stay right out here. It's patience and all. I did find it funny. You used like the holy water in the milk and used milk and cookies to lure out the other jester.
Luring them out with the milk and cookies was one of the funniest fucking things I've seen all year. Like, it was just so delightfully chuckle worthy,
And that was my favorite part.
That final confrontation where he dresses up as Santa reminds me so much of the Crescent Moon Clown, where he was all in that gear where he had like that whatever that stuff hanging all over him and such. As he was going in, he was like ready. I was like, I'm going to be Santa. That'll be the thing that she is afraid of the most.
Wardrobe was really their thing on Crescent Moon Clown because that clown looks badass too. Like, it was.
He was dapper.
See, Cody, you haven't even seen the Killer Clown one yet. Like, you got to get in on this, man. You're going to fucking love some of those later ones. This is in my top 5. Like, if I had to pick, it would probably be, I think part 3 is always going to be my overall favorite. We've talked about that in various other discussions. I think next to that is Haunted Highway now. I think just under that is Crescent Moon Clown. Then I would put this, and then I would put the Mandela Effect. I think those are my top 5 Bad Ben things.
Yeah, I watched Mandela Effect over. Actually, Mandela Effect and Haunted Highway I've watched the most. Which is actually kind of funny because if you think about it, 1 through 6 really is only one bad film in that group. Because 1's okay, and Crescent Moon Clown is okay, and the rest of them are bangers. So, you know, that's
absolute bangers.
So that's a thing. It's just Steelmanville Road. But
if we were going quality, I might put the fucking number 1 in place of Crescent Moon Clown on my list, actually. But I like Crescent Moon Clown a lot because the clown and the wig getting snatched. Is one of my favorite moments in all of Bad Ben, is that wig getting snatched, and that black girl just slaps the fuck out of the clown. Like it's the best scene maybe I've ever seen in a horror movie. Like he snatches the black girl's wig, and she just stops. Like the whole scene stops. She turns around and fucking smacks him. You know, like you don't snatch a black girl's wig, dude, even in a fucking horror movie. So perfect. It's the best. It's the best. Oh my god. I wish that I came up with something like that. I mean, like if I came up with a scene like that, that could be my claim to fame for the rest of my. I could die a happy man, never making another horror film if I came up with something like that.
So, what do you think really took out the evil elf at the end? Was it the fact that he was singing Joy to the World, or was the fact that he was doing a very, very terrible rendition of Joy to the World that just offended her ears so much she had to
I'll let Cody weigh in on this first, because
yes.
Yeah, that's the answer.
I still think I think it's the way that he sang it. It just defiled the song so much she couldn't take it.
That's a plausible theory, and I can get behind that. Dude, there's so many other little moments in this that are fucking funny, but they pack a lot into 36 minutes with this movie as well.
It really
I think there's honestly more in this than there is in some of the full-length Bad Ben movies. And I think it's 2/3 the length, you know.
I really do think that he did himself a disservice by making a lot more of these in full length. Now, there are some, like I said, Haunted Highway, full length works like really well for that. And same thing with Bad Ben. But some of them, I think, like Benign, I think would have been really good as a 30-minute short. You take all of the extra like fluff out and you put the good stuff in, I think it would have worked fine. It's just, you know, and
I think all of the ones he's done since Haunted Highway probably would have been better that way. You know.
But that's all I've got.
How many has he done? It's just the 2, right?
He's done a number. I mean, those are the ones
Haunted
that I've
Highway
seen.
Was 7. Oh, so yeah, that's a while back. What was the pandemic ones that he's done?
He's done the full movies. He's done 11. Because you've got Bad Ben, Steelmanville Road, Badder Ben, Mandela Effect. Then, let's see here. I want to say then it was Crescent Moon Clown. Then 6 was The Way In. 7 was Haunted Highway.
The Way In was neat narratively, but it wasn't really like the best movie. It's one of those ones you watch and you're like, damn, that was cool because it added some neat elements to the narrative, but it just wasn't you know what I mean, like the movie that you're fucking raving to your friends about, like we do with some of these other ones with Cody. What was after The Way In?
Then it was Haunted Highway.
Yeah.
And then it was Pandemic, and then it was Benign, Eulogy, and Undead.
Oof.
Which Undead, he fights zombies, which he bragged that he's fought everything but zombies, which he pretty much has. I mean, they even introduced Santa Claus into the lore. So Santa Claus is legit real. in the Bad Ben universe. So, which I find is fun because they have that like brief cameo of Santa at the end where they're like, okay, let's get back inside. No. They decide to like, okay, let's go. Hey, Father, you have any of that sacramental wine that we can get into? But I think
Santa
that's
kind of is real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the way I like to look at it, because even the tooth fairy, lots of parents give up on that. Regrettably, I was one of those parents that after a while it was just like, chuck the tooth in the trash. Like Fight Club, even the Mona Lisa's falling apart. I'm not going to pay you for it. Maybe that makes me a dick, but I didn't keep up the tooth fairy myth. But Santa, I very much am behind still. You only get to be Santa for so long, and bring your kids like some magic, right? And then eventually they realize Santa isn't real. And then, like, it bums me out because I've always had like a niece or a nephew, and then my kid, like, I'm kind of at that point where after my kid is that old and my niece is that old, I don't really have anyone else to be Santa for. And it is kind of a bump.
Well, it's a little bit of the magic of the season.
We all have a little Santa in us, and we can, channel that sometimes, like Hulk Hogan did in Santa with Muscles. That's how he stopped that ice cream truck, man. He channeled that little bit of Santa that's in all of us.
Other than costume,
made it happen, baby.
Other than costume design, there really wasn't a ton of special effects. They had a lot of pop in, pop out type thing, the moving objects. But he's done that a ton in these movies.
Yeah,
and I like the costume.
It was done
design.
well here.
Yeah. But
I think back in these days with part 3, their editing was at its snappiest when it came to that, so it worked really well. But yeah, kudos where it belongs, but nothing spectacular at this point. Continue.
They had a pretty rockin' like ending, like Christmas theme that they did on there, which was pretty nice. It's got him with the cartoon like image of him and Ben together.
I wish that I had watched that. I was at work, so as soon as it hit the credits, I was like, all right, I watched it, and I stopped. But I'll have to go back and check that out.
And if you get a chance to watch the Witch Bitch, it's only 15 minutes, and it's fully animated, which I find entertaining.
Oh, that's happening today.
It's and like I say, it's an entertaining enough. He had a bunch of these little shorts, and I've only seen a handful of them, but I think that there's a lot of fun to this, and that's pretty much covers the Bad Ben experience. But really and truly, so we've gone over Bad Ben. If we ever decided to go through and Schlockaholics and hit Badder Ben, or, well, probably not Haunted Highway, because I'd hate to have to force you through all of it to get there.
Dude,
but
if we're doing this with Cody, we are making him watch every fucking second of that. Okay?
So
I want his opinions on the bad stuff. Like that's what makes it like we have to do the Ben. I don't even know. There's no way to say it right. We have to do a Bad Ben marathon one of these days.
Well, hopefully hopefully it makes you less apprehensive about the third film if you ever get back into it.
There's only a couple of bad ones, man. I mean, we've watched way more bad movies and series that we bought box sets and masks on masks for, man. I mean, like, I would say Bad Ben's a stronger series than most of the stuff that we have behind us right now.
Well, I would, out of all of what I've seen in there, like, for instance, I'll use Camp Blood. I can say that the worst Bad Ben movie is not as bad as the worst Camp Blood movie was for me.
Not even close. And the best Bad Ben movies are leagues beyond that shit. It's like the type of stuff that you wish that there was like a seasonal show about it on TV, and that's something. I could watch, Nigel do this shit for 13 episodes a year. I'd be there for every one of them,
So Cody, did you have any final words before we go into like best scenes and stuff about the Bad Ben stuff? You were pretty silent through this one.
No, this is more your guys' series than mine, but I definitely enjoyed this one. I mean, I don't have anything bad to say about this one.
It's yours now too. You saw the first one and regrettably the second one, and then you kind of stalled out, and then basically you saw 3.5 right now. So, I mean, basically you got the taste of what it was like going from 2 to this one. So, which is basically the same shit that was going on in 3, just a little bit more holiday themed. But I mean, what do you think of the shift in direction, I guess, or the shift in, like I said, it's not even really a shift. It's just more like they made the situations funnier. The character pretty much stays the same of Tom Riley. It's just he gets to do more stuff because he's introduced to more shit. But
I mean, what do you think of that? You can't make that many movies and they're not all going to hit. So it's I don't even have an answer for you of why I haven't even watched the third one, knowing I didn't like the second one, because there's been plenty of series where I didn't like several sequels in a row and still went and watched the next one.
But the second Bad Ben is so
Cody, no
boring.
excuses. No excuses.
The second Bad Ben is so fucking boring. Like, honestly, even as much as I love Brandon, I was questioning it at that point.
Remind me, what was the second one?
That was Steelmanville Road, where they were trying to be all serious, showing the.
It was a prequel. Oh yeah, that one was pretty fucking
It blows so fucking hard.
Oh no, that one was really bad.
The third one got us to keep going. That was the thing.
It blows like someone that's trying to prove a point that they're good at it, and they end up just hurting you. You know what I mean? Like it is an unpleasant experience all around.
Like, it hurt you.
Maybe we'll do a discussion on the third film eventually on this channel, and that way it'll bring you back into it, give you a reason to get back into the fold. Then if you like say, no, I still hate this
Kim's
stuff.
Here, what's her favorites? What are your favorite Bad Bens?
That you remember?
So that I remember, the one with the black girl.
Yeah.
And then the one with the film crew. Because it was that ending was like, that was hilarious. He's like, hey, Ben, I've got someone I want you to meet. It's the bitch that broke your toy.
That's a great line.
Yeah, that was the third one, and Crescent Moon Clown, which she
I
almost
told you, man. That wig getting snatched is one of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen. And then she just turns around and smacks him. I mean, I know Kim loved that scene too.
I don't fuck with clowns. Don't know how I watched It growing up. Actually, that's why I don't fuck with clowns. Is the original It miniseries.
Oh yeah, Tim Curry.
Yes, that will make anyone
ruined
scared.
a lot of childhoods. I still can't. I'm an adult and I still have trouble looking down the drain in the sink at night. Like there's certain nights where I go in there and I'm looking down the drain of the sink and I'm like, I'll shave in the morning,
All right, guys. Well, I just got home from work, so I'll holler at y'all later.
Yeah, it was nice seeing you. Thanks for your fucking top 3 or whatever.
I see you too.
Yeah. See, another opinion. You should definitely watch the third one.
I will watch it. I'll watch it as soon as we get done with this live stream. How's that?
Stop us from bothering you on it.
I will do it.
Overall, though, I think this is one of the better, not enough people embrace the holiday special spirit these days. We got dudes, thankfully, like this guy and like Chris Seaver that do it. Obviously, whoever is randomly doing Amityville Christmas specials is doing a good job too. Saw that Talk Boy, looked real fun.
That Amityville Christmas Vacation, I'm telling y'all, it is great. After I was all kinds of depressed after watching Amityville Karen. I was like, is this what Amityville has become from here on out? And then I watched that thing and it was like, it renewed my hope in the thing. Cause that's also that one, Thanksgiving and all of them are 2022 films. So, I am I was actually quite pleased with it. Like I said, all the callbacks to all those different movies. This guy's films are fun. And I'm wondering if you've seen Carousel, Cody. Is that still by David? What's his name? No, Steve, and
Yeah, Red Nicky or something like that.
let me see here. Carousel.
He seems like a guy that's very full of himself, though, and that part bothers me.
Steve Rudzinski. That's it. I will say that his Meowie movies are hilarious, and that Amityville Christmas Vacation. I've seen many people who are full of themselves in this business, unfortunately.
Oh, I know.
You guys are a lot more picky than I am when it comes to where I get my fucking schlock, you know. Like, I would deal with the devil himself, you know, while he's pimping girls on the side and selling crack to get these movies.
Hey, I still got Amityville.
I don't give a fuck, dude. You know, I think it's because I was initiated to like trash cinema with like exploitation movies of the 70s, maybe, where I really like the idea of trash cinema being like a whole industry kind of was like cemented in my brain, where I realized like half these motherfuckers are like used car salesman, porn star, producer type dudes, you know. Even Roger Corman was a fucking sleazeball, you know. I mean, it's everybody that we sort of worship in this shit are those dudes that are successful for being dirtbags.
Still did the best Fantastic Four interpretation I have seen yet.
Oh yeah, of course, by far. I will say if you're on a high with that Christmas Vacation, I would wait on watching Ghosts of Amityville.
Is it back down in the dirt with the rest of it?
I watched that one today. Wild Eye put it out about a month or so ago.
Cody just gives him a fucking a stern warning.
It's
don't fuck up your holiday, man.
Luckily, it's not 2 hours long like Karen, but it's.
Oh, Karen had downright depressed me by the end of it.
It was a rough ride for sure.
But well, if you ever get a chance to watch Amityville Christmas Vacation, it is worth the ride. It has a lot of good humor in it.
On Tubi, isn't it?
I think it is.
Okay.
But it was fun. It calls back to the Meowie movies that he did, which is again goofy as heck. But darned if. But sometimes we've already discussed. I think that's a thing we can say today from both of what we've done. Yes, it is on Tubi. But the thing that I think we've learned today is that goofy as heck can still be quite fun. Whether
Absolutely.
It's a Santa with muscles or a paranormal investigator taking out elves, it can still be quite fun.
I have been pretty much religiously watching Monty Python's Flying Circus lately, and just revisiting all those old sketches that sort of made me kind of, I think, attuned to stupid humor to begin with, you know? It's been real dumb around here the last couple of weeks. And, you know, I love it because I don't think there's anything more freeing to the collective, you know, consciousness than a dumb joke, you know? Not a smart joke that you have to be some type of a genius to pick up on, but just... So, you know, a dumb, straightforward joke that is just fun to chuckle at, you know. And I think that Bad Ben distills that down to perfection. You know what I mean? Like the douchebag and plaid thing. It's just such a fun exchange of words. It's dumb. It's insulting, but man, is it fun, you know.
Oh. Well, with that, did y'all do favorite scenes for this one?
We didn't. Really, there is no favorite characters because it's just the douchebag and plaid and Tom Riley, but
the
priest. Yeah.
And the elves. Ben could be your favorite character.
Tom's pretty much mine. Favorite scene. I don't know, man. It's so hard to choose. Come back to me on that one. Yeah, Cody.
I don't have one on favorite characters, but I think my favorite scene's the cookie scene with the elf.
I'm right there with you. That is my favorite scene. Right next to the Bad Ben scene where he comes in, where Ben comes in, swoops down, and takes one of the elves up, and they're like, "Oh shit!" I do like it when you've got like these malevolent creatures and so on. And if it's a comedy, if it's true horror, it's different. But if it's a comedy, I love it when the creatures who are supposed to be all powerful are put on are backpedaling. Like, what the heck? I think that's what made Crescent Moon Clown funny, because that clown was like, "What the heck? I'm out of here."
Yeah. And his outfit was rad. I don't know, man. I think it's a combination of several different things in this one for me. I don't know if I have a singular favorite scene. And like I said, favorite character is Tom Riley. I think favorite line is just where he fucking talks either about like snapping the nuns' asses with the towel, or where he calls that dude Fortnite. I think that's still just such a savage burn. He's like, "Settle down, Fortnite. Professionals are at work here."
And he's such a crotchety old man, but it makes it funny.
Yeah, that he knows the actual game to call him. And it takes me back to, and this is on Facebook. I can show you guys probably a post later. But back in the day, I was listening to my kid, and she was playing Grand Theft Auto live, right? Like, and people were talking to her. And I don't know what the context of the conversation was, but Nami just tells this kid, "Shut up, kid. You smell like Fortnite." Like, she said it like so fucking savage, like she was someone in prison or something. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, "Shut up, motherfucker. You smell like Fortnite. Like, I could smell the fucking virgin on you right now." Like, it was like, it was so hardcore that it has never left me, you know? So it taps into a little bit of that. Like I said, I'll share those posts with you later, because that's legendary. There's a lot of people that only know that I have a kid because of that in gaming groups, you know. That is a savage burn when you're playing Grand Theft Auto. Like, "Shut up, kid. You smell like Fortnite." Like, I could smell the fucking bitch on you. Yeah, and she was like a fucking 8-year-old kid, you know. It's like, what is happening? How am I hearing this fucking kid deliver such a savage fucking roast of this poor little fella on the other end? I didn't raise her like that. I can't even claim any responsibility for that. That's all her. But Tom has those types of lines in these movies, which I love, you know, and that when he calls the kid Fortnite is reminiscent of that, and also awesome. And I think he calls them Keebler elves at one point, which is obvious, but still so fun, you know.
Well, I do want to thank you both for indulging me in kind of yes. Okay. For kind of indulging me and kind of sharing some of the other content in the channel. And like I said, you know, if you really want to hear some more Bad Ben discussions and hear me and Mo go through the good times and the bad times, at least for the first 9 of the Bad Ben films,
we've been on this shit for months,
world, and we'll accommodate you on those.
For sure.
And they're not that long. Usually the discussions range from a half hour to 45 minutes. I think the longest was 45 minutes.
About what we're doing tonight, we just have an extra person, so it's gonna round out to about an hour. But yeah, man. I mean, we've been on this shit for 9 months. It's been fun for the most part. There's been certain ones that have been a drag, but that happens. I mean, any series this big is gonna have movies that suck. That doesn't. I mean, it's not an exception to indie films. You know, half the fucking Jason movies suck. You know, good third of the fucking Freddy movies suck. Most of the Hellraiser movies suck. You know, so well, if you get a series like Bad Ben where it's consistent enough that you know that there's only a dud or two in the whole batch of 9 movies, go for it. You know, enjoy it, have fun with it, and have fun with the bad ones too. You know, let us know what you think the worst Hellraiser sequel is in the comments below. That would be fun, and then we'll watch it and we'll tell you if it's worse than the ones we think are worse.
It's a good way to show if you watched all the way through.
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, man, Bad Ben rules, and this dude deserves money so that he can make more of these. So follow Brandon's advice. Go over there to whatever website he has going on. Click on that shit and toss $5 that way. If anything, just to increase the odds of one of the 3 of us getting like an awesome complete Bad Ben Blu-ray set at some point. I think that would be fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, help that guy get the rights back to his first 9 films. Or 8 films.
I'm going to step away momentarily. You guys are going to plug whatever you have to plug, and then we're going to close this son bitch out, I think. Yeah?
Oh. I know on my channel I've got a new feature that I've been playing around with, because these psychoanalysis takes, I'm still doing them, but they take a while, and the next one's going to be a January project. So in the meantime, I'm doing what's called first impressions, which is where when I see something that's new, that's on physical media, because I'm a physical media channel, I will give my basic thoughts on it. And I actually have a couple that are pretty rare. Like I did that Thaco one a while back, which was that's like one of the few that I barely ever see any copies around of. You can get it digitally, but it's not like Games Master, what have you done, where there's not even hardly any record of its existence. This one has records of its existence, but it's hard to find a physical. But and I know yours. I got that. I did get that special edition of what was that Jack Hunter film? The one that
Blamed.
Yeah, that has your special feature in it. So I'm looking forward to busting that open and checking it out. Probably after the first of the year, and I'm watching non-Christmassy holiday stuff. I'll probably start busting that open. And I need to get into Paranoia tapes because I've still only seen the 8th film, I think.
Yeah, I gotta watch that Paranormal Tales stuff too. You know, one of these days. I don't have anything to plug because my camera has been on the fritz lately. This is the most that it's worked in ages, and that's only because I've scaled it down to 480p. It's pretty much done. It's dying. You know, so I've got to go out and spend $100 to get a new one, which sucks.
Yeah.
I had some edited content I was trying to do, dude. I had I had 3 reviews and 2 mixtapes like scheduled to go up on the channel, but I can't shoot any of the other stuff because the camera is so dead. So that was a bit depressing. These discussions going so awesomely and being so fun definitely helped. So cheers to you guys. Thank you. And cheers to everybody who watches these for hanging out. It's good times, you know. Yeah, I want to put some edited content on the channel, but it's not the end of the world that I can't, because we still have this type of stuff going on, you know. And at least my camera works well enough that I could be here for this. So there it is. But nothing else to plug. I'm just hanging out, watching movies, currently working through Doctor Who with my kid, as well as watching some old Power Rangers episodes. When we get around to doing our Schlock Talk on Monday or Tuesday, whichever day we end up swinging it, you know, we're going to have a lot of updating to do on that. I'm sure Cody's watched plenty of stuff since we've last done an episode. And I know both of us are itching to get out there and talk to you guys about that stuff and just shoot the shit in general. So, lots of that coming in the near future. Look at that fuzzy bastard. See how primed he is? He's like a fucking wrestler. Look at him. Look at those shoulders. Look at those traps. That's amazing
Who knows?
stuff.
I might join you some of these times. My schedule's weird, but you never know when I might pop on one of those.
And you're always
Fingers
welcome.
crossed.
We've pretty much decided to switch pickups to a separate thing that we'll stream when we have pickups to show with each other. But those ones are always just going to be what we've watched in the last week, and then what we're looking forward to, and then random discussion. That's pretty much the rule of it, and what people tune in for, really. The pickups are cool, but we could, those as their own special would be like more fun. We can roast some weenies or something. I think I'm gonna buy a George Foreman grill just because I think it would be funny to like Foreman grill things right here and eat them while we're doing videos sometimes. But yeah, lots of fun stuff in the future. And this is an hour long now, so we're gonna get the fuck out of here. But thanks for watching. Check out Bad Ben. Look at Cody's delicious smile and his Fruity Pebbles t-shirt.
That's right. Yabba dabba do.
Next time.